Welcome to the Education Exchange. I'm your host, Superintendent Jeremy Calles, and my guest here today is the principal of La Joya Community High School, Mr. Bill Sorensen. Bill, introduce yourself to the crowd. Tell them a little bit.
Bill Sorensen, grateful principal of the jewel of the West Valley, that is La Joya Community High School in the most pristine, want-to-be district in Tolleson Union School District.
Now, I know the school's doing great things, Bill. We just had your celebrations out there in front of the governing board at one of our recent governing board meetings. But for everybody who didn't catch that governing board meeting, let's catch them up. If I'm out there and I'm shopping schools, why am I picking La Joya?
That's a great question. What I can tell you at La Joya is our primary focus is high levels of learning and talking about post-secondary success. So if you have a student and they have a variety of interests, one thing I can guarantee is we have something for everyone. Come to La Joya. If you look at our trajectory of the last 3 years, our ACT is up, our student involvement in sports is up, our academic achievement is up on a lot of different measures, our AP numbers are up, we've grown our electives, our dual enrollment is up. So if your focus as a parent is I want my student to learn and learn how to learn, then come over to La Joya. As you know, our recent development is we're adding IB, which is International Baccalaureate, to our programming in anywhere from 1 to 2 years. International Baccalaureate is another way that students learn how to learn at high levels, project-based, self-interest motivated through inquiry, another way to get college credit if that's your choice after high school. So we truly feel we have something for everyone.
Let's talk about that. So we're going to jump straight into the hottest topic at La Joya, and that is, yes, your most recent announcement of looking at the IB program, bringing it here to the West Valley at the La Joya Community High School campus. Now, so if I'm a parent and I'm thinking about that, sounds like a great opportunity for my student, what year can they expect it to launch? And when it launches, like, what does that look like? Are you starting with just freshmen and letting them matriculate up? Or if my student ends up, by the time you launch it, they're in their sophomore year, are they able to get in? Maybe give parents some details about how that works.
Yeah, great question. One thing that we want to make sure when we have pristine programs, we're not gatekeepers. We want equal opportunity for every student. So we are about 90% done with our application. We have a couple other things we need to get done. Once that application is done, we predict that we will be able to start moving, starting the foundation next year with getting to full IB candidacy, which means we have the full extensive IB program within 1 to 2 years. So within that 1 to 2 years, we have to be able to teach all of the teachers who want to do IB in the principles of what IB brings. The nice thing is we are planning on offering both the middle years program and the diploma program. So middle years program is typically for your 6th through 10th graders, and your diploma program is through 9th through 10th. My understanding is the middle years program could be potentially done in a year, and the diploma program takes about 2 years. So our freshmen and sophomores after next year would be open to that middle years program. And you can either go full in and get almost an entire course load of IB, or you can pick and choose different IB courses. In 2 years, the diploma program will be predominantly for our 11th and 12th graders. So those freshmen and sophomores that were in the middle years program will funnel directly into that diploma program. But again, that diploma program is, you can take some classes, you can take all classes. The diploma program is a very pristine and prestigious diploma that they would get that would be a great gateway or stepping stone into Ivy League colleges or some of those very select universities that we know our Lobos can do.
That sounds wonderful. Now, if we know the interest has already been building for the IB program ever since the Littleton Elementary School District launched Lakin Prep, how well is your timing syncing up with that first class coming through out of Lakin Prep, working their way through 8th grade? Is it going to be a perfect sync that everybody there is going to be able to work right in to La Joya?
That's a great question. Before we explored this venture, we met with Lakin Prep, their administrator. I knew Dr. Durazo from before as being a feeder, an elementary school principal feeder to our school. We met with them. They currently have middle years program with their 6th graders and then their early years program for the younger kids. So what's going to happen is there's 6th graders right now. There'll be 7th graders next year, 8th graders the following year. So as soon as we are up and running with both programs in 2 years, that will sync perfectly with their 8th graders getting into high school. So we tried to time this with them. We know there are hundreds, I'm not exactly sure the number, hundreds of 6th graders in that program that we feel La Joya can be their home to align with that IB way of teaching and thinking and learning.
Well, it looks like you guys timed that out perfect. Way to think of the community's needs and get ahead of it. Now, there's something else coming to your neighborhood, and everybody knows it's hard to compete with a nice, shiny penny. What are your thoughts about making sure that you guys are really branding the Lobo name? Because when that new high school opens, just a mile and a half down the road, what are you guys already planning on?
Oh, I love it. I love competition. I love being sandwiched between the 2 newest schools in our district. And I know that we have a number of charter schools around us too. So one thing I can tell you is we will be the only Tolleson school district that has IB. I can tell you we are planning on both AP and IB. I can tell you we are going to do an analysis of our athletic programs because we are winning more now than we have in the most recent past. So we are winning more championships. We are allocating more resources to our athletics and clubs. So if you are a blue chipper athlete, you want to come to La Joya because we are on our way up. When we still have that balance of a caring environment along with high standards of academics. So we feel we have a very nice place with where we are in La Joya, and I know we'll have that brand new school, but our facilities are beautiful. When our people and community members come onto our campus, we are trying to build our feeder schools. I love your vision on community education, right? We want kids on our campus early on so they can feel comfortable there. So when they transition to us in 9th grade, they feel that La Joya is already their home. So I love the new school. I love the competition with the new school. I love being sandwiched between the new school and West Point, and we embrace the challenge.
All right. Now for our new and prospective students.
Yeah.
If you were talking down with an 8th grader right now who's making up their mind about what school to go to, they've chosen La Joya, now they're on their way over to go see you. If you could give them just your number one piece of advice as one of your incoming freshmen, like you got someone here who's just a complete sponge. They're hanging at every word, and you're like, look, this is something you need to do to maximize your time in high school, to make the best out of your time in high school. What would that advice be?
Leave no stone unturned. We have, I know the numbers. When I go visit 8th graders, we do a trivia game where I give out candy if they guess it. So we have somewhere around, over 100 elective choices. We have, I want to say 70 or 80 sports and clubs to choose from. We'll have advanced placement classes. We'll have IB classes. Leave no stone unturned, because I guarantee you can find your purpose, identity, and community through either athletics, clubs, high-achieving academics, any of our different groups that we have on campus. I guarantee you can find your tribe at La Joya Community High School. So leave no stone unturned.
That is great advice. Now, give them the flip side of that. So you have some students, they don't really know that it's a complete a la carte menu when you show up to high school. They're thinking maybe it's a one size fits all. It's hey, the lunch is already ready. There you go. For those students. So if for your current students, they're sitting there and they're like, I'm just taking whatever schedule's handed to me. What would be some advice to them? So maybe they're like in their sophomore, their junior year. They're starting to make their way through their high school experience. Who should they touch base with first to really figure out, like, how do you get more out of it? How do you get yourself on a track that you want to be on? Get yourself into the clubs that you want to be in. Like, who do they talk to first to help them explore the possibilities at La Joya?
Well, that's a great question. one thing I can tell you is we have a number of caring adults that can provide guidance. Obviously, we have our guidance counselors. We were just added another one, so they have a lower load. We have our social worker. We have our PBIS, intervention specialist. We have our athletics and clubs office that is very open to students. But I will tell you, if you are a student and you are unsure, I guarantee that you've seen me walking around. I just met with some students who called me a chill principal because they can come and talk to me. So one thing I can tell you, if you are unsure, I try to build a connection with all 2,237 students that we have on our campus. But I know that our teachers care as well. And behind those clubs and athletics are teachers on campus. So I know every Lobo may not love their principal. I know every Lobo might not love every teacher they have, but I can guarantee you they've interacted with at least an adult that can help guide them so that way they can find their purpose, identity, and community. So ask any adult on our campus, and I guarantee you they can lead you in the right direction because we ask our adults to also reach out to our children to help them find their purpose, identity, and community.
That's a great philosophy. Now, when students are at, picking a high school, one of the things that often comes up is their interest in extracurricular activities. And I know La Joya has a plethora of great programs, opportunities for all. And I don't want to put you on a spot with your team, but I am going to ask the question. If there was a headline and it said, La Joya Community High School, now state champions in, what do you think the first blank would be? What's if you're reaching down, you're like, yes, we definitely excel in that. State champions in.
Well, I'm going to tell you I am going to try to punt that question because right now we are adding more region and district championships. And my understanding is we have yet to win a state championship. And that is going to be a challenge to our sports programs. Right now, we have our boys basketball team that is in great position to win a region championships, get placed in a position to compete for a state championship in their seeding. Our girls volleyball program just missed region championship. We have a high caliber coach that is coaching at the collegiate level and has our girls volleyball program. I wouldn't be surprised if they do. We just made a hire for a new football coach. Well, hasn't gone to the governing board yet, but he's gone through all the clearance, who spent time in the NFL and college, who has numerous connections. We have a baseball program that I think will be competing for a region championship this spring. So what I can tell you is any one of those programs is going to be put in a position to win a state championship, and we will win state championships. I can tell you we are a hair away from being an A that we've never done in our La Joya Community High School history. I am looking at the most recent data. This group of Lobos can be the very first A-ranked school at our school, and I'm going to make that announcement and touch base with our kids. Oftentimes you'll see people do things, but to be the first, that's something nobody can ever take away from them. So I'm going to tell you, we will win a state championship coming up in the near future, and I am very confident we will achieve an A status after this year. And if we don't make it, we'll make it the next year. So come to La Joya and be the first, so no one can ever take that away from you.
Well, that's a lot of great things for our students and our student athletes. So now I'll leave it up to you. Open-ended question. Any last bit of advice for any parents of students or our students out there? Anything else you'd like to throw out to them to make sure they know about La Joya Community High School?
We know I'm an advocate of the concept of families making the choice for where their kids want to go to school. And if this podcast didn't convince you, reach out to me, meet with me. Find any other principal that will be willing to put out on this podcast that they want to meet with any prospective family to talk about La Joya, to talk about what we can do for your son or daughter and how we can help them learn at high levels and find post-secondary success. Because what I can tell you is this district supports their schools, and our school will support your family. Call me, email me, message me, come find me, and I would love to talk about what La Joya can do for your child.
Well, I love the high energy. Not only do I think it's going to drive up enrollment over there at La Joya Community High School, I think it's also going to drive up our attendance here on the Education Exchange. So I appreciate you coming on the show. I appreciate our listeners for tuning in once again to the Education Exchange, where we aim to enlighten our parents and empower our students. We look forward to seeing you again next time.
And that's the end of our show. Thank you for listening. If you have questions, want more information, or would like to be a guest on the Education Exchange, please send us an email at podcast@tuhsd.org. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and tune in next week to the Education Exchange. You can catch all episodes on your favorite streaming devices or directly at www.tuhsd.org/podcast.